From April 2008, the government in England and Wales has decided to charge full business rates on empty properties, such as this, after an initial void period has elapsed. This means that many businesses and individuals are now liable for large sums of money on properties that are not generating any income. A new company, ratablevalue.co.uk, have been set up specifically to address this problem by becoming an off-the-peg tenant for a limited time to reset this void period. We've come along to meet the man behind this new idea and find out how companies can make significant cost savings by using this service.
Rateable Value is a new company that I've set up with my daughter Kate, and the aim of the company is to save commercial ratepayers money on their empty property business rates. We become their short-term tenant for 43 days. It's a long enough period to reset the rates void period on the property.
So David, does this system just apply to the owners of these properties?
No, Dave, it applies to owners, but it also applies to lessees of the property who are in a lease with a landlord. In other words, we'll become their subtenant.
So if a client uses your services, what proportion of this money can they save?
Well, it varies. On an industrial property will qualify for a 6-month rates void period. Typically we could save them 66%, two-thirds, on their empty property business rates. A shop or an office property which would qualify for a 3-month rates void period, we could typically save them 55% on their empty property business rates.
This all sounds quite straightforward, but is it above board? Is it legal?
Yes, we've taken advice on it. It is legal. There's nothing illegal about paying the rates on a property in order to reset the rates void period.
There's lots of money involved in these transactions, so how's that side of things handled?
We ask that the client pay the fee into our client account. The money sits in the client account until we pay the rates on the property. And when we've paid the rates on the property, it will reset the rates void period.
So David, tell me about your background. What is it in your background that qualifies you for this role? That would make people want to use Rateable Value?
I've worked for about 25 years in the commercial property business. We have about 30 different commercial properties which we manage. Some of those commercial properties were subject to the empty rates tax, and so we had a look at how the tax came about, how the legislation was drawn up, and also how the anti-avoidance legislation was drawn up, and we worked a process out to mitigate our liability to empty property tax. We're conservative people. We like to think we're a safe pair of hands. We don't take risks, or not more than we have to, and we certainly won't take risks with other people's money.
What's your answer to people who say it's unethical to avoid tax in this way?
Well, I think it's a duty of managers of businesses to see that they reduce their outgoings to a minimum, especially during times of a recession. And I think people should pay all the tax they need to pay, but no more than they need to pay. This is a tax on people, on owners of commercial property, when they're not earning from the property. There's no income from the property, and they're being asked to pay tax on it. It's a bad tax, and it's come at the worst possible time.
So if a client wants to proceed with this, what do they have to do?
They need the information off their last rates bill. They can go to our website, to the inquiry page of our website, and they can fill in their details, the details of the empty property, and submit the form to us online, and we'll pick it up from there. Or they can give us a call. If they've got a query, they can give us a call. The number's on the website. We're able to save people up to two-thirds on their empty property rates by giving them a guaranteed tenant. So I think that's a good business. It's a worthwhile business, and I think it'll make a big difference to a lot of people.